And so given the hard evidence that asking immigration-related questions actually sabotages the success of the census, and the constitutional questions related to that as well, yes or no, will you commit to leaving a citizenship question off of the questionnaire? Will you take that off?
Senator, it's a longer answer. I don't know how you'd like me to play it. It's not a yes or no. Sorry.
Without objection, Mr. Chairman, you could answer the question. It is an important one. Last week, some information came to my attention that I'm concerned about, is that the Census Bureau announced that it's going to cancel 4 of the 6 sites for the 2026 census test, which was supposed to start next month. Canceling these tests and firing the people in your department who are already hired, they're already there, hired to complete it, with no advance notice, I think first off, is wasteful at best, and worst, it seems as if there could be an effort to sabotage this effort, which I hope is not the case. I believe that we can't have an accurate 2030 census. It's one of the largest, most complicated tasks in our federal government without proper preparation. We've seen that over many, many years. This is a template that we've had to follow. We need an accurate count of everyone who lives in America to ensure that communities and families receive the funding that they need for schools, for health care, for first responders, infrastructure, and so much more. And fully carrying out these tests is a necessary part of making sure that we're able to actually pull that off. So given these facts, I just need a yes or no answer. Will you commit to undoing the cancellations of these 4 testing sites and commit to completing a complete census test, which is an essential step in being able to do the full-blown version a few years from now?
I appreciate the question, and I agree with you. The test is vital and important, but I'd like you to understand we are, for the first time ever, going to use the post office. The United States Post Office is going to execute the 2026 test, and the survey we're going to use is the American Community Survey. So we are going to go out with a more sophisticated census, and we're going to use we've made a deal with the post office, so we're going to pay the post office to execute that. But you can imagine the efficiency of already having hundreds of thousands of people who already work for the federal government, who already have cars, who already pay for the gas, and they already know where everybody lives. So this is one of my big moves for efficiency. We are testing 2026 to see, can the post office do it? Because our objective is, I think the post office can do the census in 2030, do a better job because they go to 169 million homes every day. They should be able to do the census brilliantly and for far more efficiently. And the test, as you correctly pointed out, is coming very, very shortly in 2026. So I think, you know, I'm happy to talk to you about it and go through it with you together so you can best understand what our plan is.
I appreciate that, because obviously this is a big change, and if it doesn't go well, that has catastrophic impact. So I would hope you would also commit, as you're doing this and moving forward, is that you will make all the planning results of the 26 census test available to the public and to Congress, so we can fully evaluate this together and that we can perform our oversight function. Would that be something you'd be willing to agree to today? Fully transparent with the test.
I'll certainly take that under advisement, but it makes perfect sense for us to talk about it and make sure this is a test of a new idea. Let's see how it goes, but I'd be happy to meet with you and your staff and go through it because that makes sense.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And if it's not going well, it's hard to, time is a wasting. So it's important for us to really have a good sense of what's going to be going on.
Well, that's why it's vital, but that's why it's vital to do the test in 2026 for the 2030 census, right? That's why this test is vital.
And it's also vital that we assess it fully to understand it's actually working, so we can make a course correction if necessary. Also on the topic of the census, has been reported that your department plans to add a question to the census test asking people their citizenship status. The Supreme Court has already overturned past efforts to include a citizenship question on the census, and it's because the Constitution, it's a great document, the US Constitution, requires the Census Bureau count, quote, the whole number of persons in each state, end of quote, regardless of citizenship status. The Census Bureau's own research, your own Census Bureau's own research has shown that asking immigrant questions on the census will make it less accurate by making people, including citizens, less likely to participate. And that will be especially true now given the racial profiling, abuse of power, the violence that Americans are witnessing on the streets of America right now. And so given the hard evidence that asking immigration-related questions actually sabotages the success of the census, and the constitutional questions related to that as well, yes or no, will you commit to leaving a citizenship question off of the questionnaire? Will you take that off?
Senator, it's a longer answer. I don't know how you'd like me to play it. It's not a yes or no. Sorry.
Without objection, Mr. Chairman, you can answer the question. It is an important one.
Yes, go ahead.
You correctly point out that citizenship is not in the Constitution for the apportionment, right? The most important thing, which is the 435 seats and the 435 electoral votes, are not predicated on citizenship. That is not it's not a necessary factor to determine apportionment. What the questionnaire is, I don't know, and we've not decided. But I agree with you, citizenship is not in the Constitution for apportionment.
But just to the question, the other part is that your own department has evidence to show that it has a chilling effect on people even participating in the census, including citizens. And if they're not participating, then that is going to have an impact on their local community's ability to access public health benefits, education benefits, and a long list, which I know you're very well of. It is very troubling, and it's based on objective studies done by the Census Bureau. Having that on that test is going to undercount citizens based on research that is done. Doesn't that trouble you?
I'm not familiar with that being true, but I will look into it.
Appreciate it.
Times of India videos, your daily dose of India and the world. Global news, different views, and sharp analysis.
Pressure of expectation from your fans, your supporters.
That is often served as a backdrop for several Bollywood.
You're not a brute majority anymore. If you individually take out their right.
Making sense of global conflicts. Tracking the new emerging world order.
Strike on Israeli military bases.
A multi-pronged.
To stay out of harm's way as Israel started bombing targets across.
Understanding changing alliances in a polarized world. Tune into TOI videos for all this and more. Click on the bell icon to subscribe and never miss an update.